Hello and welcome to our very special Thanksgiving podcast. We have a great one for you tonight.
Yes, we do. We are very excited about it.
We have some very special guests that Eli will interview, and we have a little play that Lori wrote
And you.
about Thanksgiving.
Except me. I didn't write it.
And so we hope that everyone that hears this will enjoy it. It's going to be a little bit comical, but there's going to be some meaning there. So everybody just enjoy the show. Anybody else?
Thank you for listening.
Yep. Okay, guys, welcome back to Eli's Moment, and today we're with some very special guests. They are actually from the original Thanksgiving, or as you know it as the very first Thanksgiving. And they are actually some of the original pilgrims from the Thanksgiving. So now, okay.
Thanks for having us here, Eli. It's truly an honor.
The pleasure's all mine.
Could you introduce yourselves?
Sure. This is my wife, Margaret Meriwether St. George Freemason. I'm John.
And now, how old are you?
I'm 423. How old? 20.
Oh, John, you are not that old. You've got your age wrong.
Wait a minute. I'm 420-some years old.
No, not 420-some years old.
Well, look, I can remember it as if it's 200 years ago.
I'm 428.
Oh, so that makes me okay. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right.
Okay, can you tell us about your experience coming to America?
Oh, that experience. Oh, I see all this stuff with turkeys and all this fancy smancy stuff.
No. All I
Let me
wanted to
tell
do was get out of the house
Let me
for
tell
a
you.
minute.
If we got out of the house, do you know what would have happened? There was people killing people over there.
No,
You don't remember that?
no.
I wanted to go to church, and I was mugged 3 times. They said you can't go to church. And so
John.
some of our friends come by.
John.
They said, listen to me.
John.
Listen to me. They said, can't you want to get away? We're going to a new world.
John.
That's what they said. They said, you want to go to a new world. I said, you know what? I don't want to go to a new world.
No. I said,
Okay, guys!
hey, little
Stop
person.
fighting!
Little person. Go away.
Stop fighting, guys!
But listen to me. I know how it went. I remember it like it's 150 years ago.
John, you don't remember what happened 50 years ago.
I didn't want to go on this trip. This guy come to our door and he says, hey, you want to go on this trip with us? And I said no. But my wife says, you never take me to see anything. I want to see the world.
John.
I want to see the world. That's what she said. I want to see the world.
John.
I said, okay.
All I said was, you never take me out of the house
Okay,
anymore.
so we went. Okay.
But I never dreamed that you would make me get on a boat.
And it wasn't one of the big boats either, though. All the rich, fancy, smancy guys, they got on this great big boat. What was it called? Merriweather?
It was called
Mayflower.
the Mayflower.
That was, okay, there you go. We didn't get that boat. We got the one behind that boat. It was a little bitty boat that they put their garbage in.
It was only because you did not tip the purser guy.
I didn't have the money. The Church of England took everything I had.
You were too cheap to
Cheap?
tip.
What are you talking about cheap? I had to.
We had to ride in the back of the garbage boat.
But it was,
know.
and the leeches, oh my gosh, the leeches, they were all over me. I was in the bed, and I would say, hey, there's leeches down here.
There was no leeches.
There was leeches. What's those bugs that get on you and they bite you? What are they called? The ones that get on you and bite you.
There was lice, yes.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was.
But the leeches suck your blood.
Oh, Well, anyway,
John,
it was a terrible
John.
experience. The room was a small little room. I mean, you think you've got small rooms here in America.
John.
This place is incredible. We had this little bitty room we could barely get one bed in.
Did I tell you that he did not tip the purser?
Yes. you already
That's
told
why
me.
we were in the garbage.
So how was the first Thanksgiving?
Oh, the first Thanksgiving. Oh, I remember. It was awful.
No, John.
Don't you remember? We get over
No,
there
John.
and the weather, and everybody talks about how nice it was
John,
and beautiful.
John.
It was 3 feet of snow.
You're
it was
missing
awful.
There was no snow.
We got over there, and the first Thanksgiving. You won't talk about the first Thanksgiving, do you? Well, let me tell you, there was no turkey. What was a turkey? We didn't see no turkey. We ate shoe leather. All they had was leather. We were starving to death. They
We
put
did
us
not.
out.
No.
They
No.
put us out in the
No,
field.
no. We did not eat shoe leather.
No, I thought that the Thanksgiving was a successful harvest, and then you're over
Yeah.
here
Oh,
saying,
Yes.
the harvest. Oh, he wants to talk about the harvest. Let's talk about the harvest. This harvest, I didn't see no harvest. They put me and my wife out in a field with a little table, and they brought us shoe leather to eat.
We
They
were
sit there
We
and
were
they
at the
eat.
kids' table, yes.
They sit there and eat this harvest with these fellas
Yes.
with colorful head
We-
things on their
We
head.
were sitting with our knees like in our chest. It was very uncomfortable.
It was terrible. And people say, "Oh, the Thanksgiving."
With all the little
We were
pilgrim
so
kids.
hungry. I wanted to eat the hooves off the horses. It would have tasted better.
I thought the Pilgrim kids served the adults.
Served, yeah. You call that served? That wasn't served. What they did, they walked around and threw stuff at us. They like had a head full of corn. It was like
It
throwing
was
it
actually
was-
the first food fight.
Yeah, that's what it is. Food fight. Yeah, they were throwing food at us. Is that what you call serving?
Remember that, John? You
We're
had
waiting
pumpkin in
like
your
a waiter.
hair.
What?
Like a waiter.
A waiter?
Yeah, they were like a
He
waiter for
had
them.
mashed potatoes coming out of his
It was
ears.
horrible. There was no Thanksgiving. We weren't thankful for that. That was terrible.
We were too thankful, John.
I wanted to go back to England. They said no. And you know how long we was on that boat?
How
Oh my
long?
God. What was it, 50, 60 years? It was
It
terrible.
was quite a long time
It was
on the
awful.
boat. There was no separate bathrooms.
And the kids we had the meal with, they were all sick. They had snot and stuff running out. It was awful. It was like the worst. And I had to sit there and try to eat my shoe leather while looking at these pitiful kids. They were terrible.
We actually had deer and
Deer.
shellfish.
Oh, so you had deer? I didn't see any deer.
And we
All I
had
saw was
corn.
and horse. They
fruit.
killed a horse, and we ate horse.
John,
What?
your memory is terrible.
I remember it like it was
did
150
not-
years
no,
ago. Yeah.
they did not kill a horse.
There was a horse. I watched them slaughter a horse, and we didn't even get a part of that. They were starving us to death.
I used to think that a steak was made from horse.
Well, you know what? You might be right, because it tasted a lot like the steaks we've had around here.
Okay, so now here's one of the other questions. And what is your secret to living so long?
Raisins.
Raisins?
I eat lots of raisins.
I eat shrimp. I like lots of shrimp. That's what we had at the first Thanksgiving.
You had shrimp? I
We
didn't have shrimp.
we had shrimp.
Where'd you get the shrimp at?
John? We really did.
You know what they made me?
What?
I had rock stew. They would put rocks in water and let it boil.
It was a very good stew.
Rock stew. You like rock stew?
Yes.
You don't buy it around. Have you seen rock stew around here?
No, I've never seen it.
Okay, that's
Anywhere.
why, because it was awful.
We had a really good time.
You remember the
at
time I
first
found the salamander in my
Thanksgiving.
stew? I had a salamander in my stew.
There was not a
It was stuck on the
salamander.
rock.
No, there was not a salamander.
There was a salad. Well, there was a worm.
No.
It was a bug.
You're
Nope.
mistaken, John. But,
Okay. Okay, so
And I don't like the word pilgrim. It's demeaning.
he never did like the word pilgrim.
Okay, so that was...
He has a hard time with labels, young man.
Okay.
Have you been to the Amazon?
Nope, I've been to Amazon.com.
What is a .com?
We're not up with all this.
I chose the wrong people. Okay.
Well, this is our first interview. Hey, we don't give interviews like this.
Okay,
And this is what we get for our
Why did I
efforts.
say that? I chose the wrong people to say that.
420 years old, and
You need to respect your elders.
and you're not
young
going to find
man.
anyone elder than us.
Speak for yourself, John.
Elder than my wife.
Speak.
I think I made them mad.
John.
What?
I think I made them bad.
Well, I think it's time for us to go. I think what's that restaurant you like to eat at?
Red Lobster.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, we're gonna go there now, young man.
Okay.
And thanks
and
for
I'm
having
going
us.
to have some shrimp.
And I kind of been craving that salamander stew.
Okay,
John.
so I guess that is the end of that interview. So stay tuned for next week's interview. It could be something, I don't know, it could be literally playing a game on my phone, then you'll have to listen to me play it, or it could literally be talking about rocket science, or it could just be talking about computers, or I could say something really fast, or I could count to 1,000 or 10,000 in a Eli's moment. So this is it for this week's Eli's moment, and I'll see you next time.
Hello. Since it's Thanksgiving week, we have decided to select one family from a long list of applicants to look in on to see how they celebrate this wonderful time of year. So meet the Campbell family. I know that sounded like the introduction to the game show Family Feud, but I assure you, it isn't. Travis is the one that has brown hair, eyes that are set too far apart, a nose too wide, and ears too small. Actually, he kind of looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Nicole is his wife, a pretty woman with light blonde hair, full lips, and large blue eyes. It's strange how these two ever got together. He must have been rich or something, or at least before he had children. Will is their son. He is 9. Thank goodness he takes after his mother. He is a good-looking boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. Then there's the baby, Ella, who, as far as we know, is 4. Will is sitting at the dining room table, working on a school paper. This was after several rounds of threats and pleadings from both parents, and it was not always in that order. I mean, who would assign homework just a few days before Thanksgiving anyway? Oh well, at least it's the Monday before, and since he's only 9, he can only think about turkey and stuffing, and more importantly, no school for 2 whole days. After all, that's what Thanksgiving is to him, and most Americans. So anyway, let's take a look.
Come on, Mother.
He only calls her mother to get under her skin because he knows she hates it.
I just can't understand why we have to write a paper about Thanksgiving. Everyone knows what it is. We get out of school to eat turkey.
Will, is that all Thanksgiving means to you? Just days off and food?
Yes, and it is the start of Christmas. What else could it mean?
Oh, honey, it is so much more than that. Why don't you get your dad to help you research it while I finish up dinner? Travis!
Yeah, babe, what you need? There he is, the paterfamilias of the family. The one who works and slaves so that his kids can have electronics that they will destroy in 2 days. He is the smart one because only smart men know how to get out of doing stuff they don't want to do. And here is the perfect example.
Hey, will you help Will with his paper on Thanksgiving while I finish up dinner? I help too, please.
Oh, Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, baby girl. Here, climb on Daddy's lap. We will both help brother. Okay, son. What is the assignment?
We have to write a paper on the history of Thanksgiving.
Oh, great. I know all about Thanksgiving history. As far back as I can remember, I've been an expert on the subject, so you just sit there. It all started, let's see, maybe 5-10 years ago, I believe. Okay, so maybe this isn't an act. Maybe he really is stupid. Let's begin, okay? It all started in a galaxy a land far, far away, when a group of people wanted to find a nice vacation spot away from Spain or Mexico or someplace. But anyway, it wasn't until they spotted a large rock that they named Plymouth, and that was because at the time Plymouth was a nice car and everybody wanted one. So they named the rock after it. It was a beautiful car with 4 doors and came in several colors. And
Wait a minute. None of that can be right. What are you even talking about?
well, son, when you get to be old and have stories that I have, you can tell them the way you want to. But for now, I'm your father, and this is a very important story to tell. So listen closely. Now, where was I?
Plymouth Rock.
Oh, yeah. So, when they landed, they met a group of half-naked people that they called Indians. When they realized that these poor clothes-deprived people weren't actually Indians, and that they were not in India at all, they all felt so embarrassed. But for some reason, never changed the name of these poor beggars. I guess, possibly rather than own up to their mistakes, they tried to save face. Hence, they convinced themselves that they were, in fact, in India, even though there was no curry to be found. So the name just stuck. But anyway, these Indians offered lots of food and clothing, which the new settlers refused because the clothes consisted of animal skins, and they were afraid of getting lice. And the food was tasteless and poorly cooked because the fire hadn't been invented yet. And no one wanted to eat a fish because the bones were cutting their mouths, and the deer tasted like eating a wet dog.
I don't think any of this is even right.
Okay then. Let's continue, shall we? This time, without interruptions. As a peace offering, the settlers were allowed to name all the animals in the forest. So they named one McSpiny-Bottom, which became what we would know as the porcupine. They named the giraffe next, then the elephant, and...
Wait a minute. There are no elephants or giraffes in America.
Oh, there was back then. Now be quiet. But a sudden decree came from the Indians, who weren't really Indians. It said that the settlers could eat any vegetable on the land except for the one tree. If they ate from that tree, then a snake would eat them.
Wait a minute. You're combining 2 stories here.
What are you talking about, son?
You went from a fake Thanksgiving story to Adam and Eve.
Son, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm pretty sure none of the settlers was named Adam or Eve. Plus, none of the Indians had those names either. So I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Mother!
Okay, so we might have picked the wrong family to look in on.
What's going on in here? I thought you guys were working on Will's paper. We are, Mommy, but Daddy is so funny. What are you telling them?
The story of Halloween, of course.
Halloween?
I'm not sure what story he's even telling us now, but it's not the right one.
Really? You were supposed to be telling our children the truth about Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was. Without the bloodshed, of course.
Hun, why don't you keep an eye on dinner while I take over from here?
All right, fine. What do we have? Pizza? I hope it's pizza. You know, that was the first Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, most of the settlers were Greek, right?
Just go and let me clear up the mess here. Mommy, Daddy, so funny.
Oh, brother.
Okay, forget everything your father just said.
I was doing that while he was saying it.
Now, here's why we give thanks. Long before settlers came to the east coast of the United States, the area was inhabited by many Native American tribes. The area surrounding site of the first Thanksgiving, which is now southeastern Massachusetts and eastern Rhode Island, had been the home of several Native American tribes for many years and had been visited by other European settlers before the arrival of the Mayflower in 1620. Those people were called the Plymouth Colony. Because of the car. Travis, what have you told them?
I don't think you want to know.
Well, anyway, these new settlers were a group of English people called Puritans who wanted to break away from the Church of England. These separatists, as they were called, suffered financial problems, so they received funding from English merchants to sail across the Atlantic Ocean in 1620 to settle in a new world. Carrying 101 men, women, and children, the Mayflower traveled the ocean for 66 days and was supposed to land where New York City is now. But really bad weather forced them to cut their trip short and settle at what is now Cape Cod, Massachusetts. One day that fall, 4 settlers were sent to hunt for food for a harvest celebration. An Indian tribe heard gunshots and alerted their leader, who thought the English might be preparing for war. The leader visited the English settlement with 90 of his men to see if the war rumor was true. Not long after their visit, the Native Americans realized that the English were only hunting for the harvest celebration. So the leader sent some of his own men to hunt deer for the feast, and for 3 days, the English and Native men, women, and children ate together. The meal consisted of deer, corn, shellfish, and roasted meat. Much different than what we eat today. And there was no pizza. They played ball games, sang, and danced. Although prayers and thanks were given at the 1621 harvest gathering, the first recorded religious Thanksgiving Day in Plymouth happened 2 years later in 1623. On this occasion, the colonists thanked God for rain after a 2-month drought. So that is how it all happened. So tell me, Ella, what are you thankful for? I'm thankful for Mommy and Daddy. And you, Will?
I'm thankful that it didn't happen the way that Dad said it.
Well, I'm thankful for that too, but I'm also thankful for a happy, healthy family. And what about you, hon?
I'm thankful the food is ready. So there you have it, a traditional Thanksgiving in America. I know what you're thinking, and you would be right. The narrator does sound a lot like the dad in the story. But besides that, not all American fathers are so dumb. Just some of us are. So anyway, from all of us here at Indie Authors Discussion, we want to wish everyone listening a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Good night. Well, that was our Thanksgiving special. And what about the couple that's 400 years old?
I like the wife.
They were something. They didn't have a very good time there in Plymouth, did they?
No, I heard that it was a rough time, and she really gave her husband a hard time, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have backed off a little bit, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
But
No.
I think that the 400-year-old guy, he said that it was like 60 years or something, but But when we did the play,
Uh-huh.
it says that it took them 66 days. So
Well, being stuck on a boat, it probably felt like.
Oh,
it,
yeah, I'm
you
sure
know.
it felt like.
And smelling all the
much, much
garbage
more.
and stuff, was probably.
Yeah, because
pretty
they
rough.
couldn't afford to. I heard he didn't tip the purser.
Yeah, but he did say that that it was her idea to go and
I don't know. I heard that she just wanted to get out of the house for a minute.
yeah, but it was a rough time back then. Remember the Church of England, and you
Yeah.
couldn't be, you couldn't have freedom of religion. So.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
we would like to, since this is our Thanksgiving special episode, I think it would be a good idea to say some things that we are thankful for. Because we truly are just so blessed beyond measure. And everything and every bit that we have comes from God. And we praise Him and we thank Him. And do you care if I go first?
Of course not. You're going already.
I am very thankful that for my family, for Tim, for Eli, for Dakota, for my sister, brother, and all extended family, nieces and nephews. I'm very thankful for my job and my friends. And I'm truly blessed to be surrounded by the people that I am surrounded by. And I feel loved, and I enjoy this life that the Lord has given me.
Well, I'm thankful for my family, my job, and to have a wonderful place to live. Hello, I'm Tommy. I am a chosen spokesperson for Elijah. And I am going to read a statement written by Elijah. It says, I am thankful for my mountains of video games, my very own game room, all my cars in my collection, my mother and father, and a beautiful house to live in. Thank you. So that's it, folks. We hope you enjoyed our podcast tonight, and we would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving!
And remember, keep those pages turning. Happy Thanksgiving from Louisiana.